The honourable member from Montcalm. Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Bloc, since 2019, and I would say even since 2015, has never voted for a Liberal budget or its updates. We'll continue once again with this budget to vote against it. And one of the reasons that we're going to vote against it is that they are still keeping subsidies to the oil industry, which makes record profits. Does my colleague not find it indecent to finance the oil industry, which is making record profits with the people's money that he seems to be so concerned about?
The honourable member Cypress Hills Grasslands.
Merci beaucoup pour la question, Madame.
To thank my colleague for his question.
What I would say about that, our committee actually did a study on subsidies for the oil and gas industry at Natural Resources, and what we found out was that, with the exception of the government's purchasing of the Trans Mountain Pipeline, which they didn't need to do if they would have just allowed the private sector proponent to build it themselves, which would have came in way under cost from what the government had to spend on it. There are no subsidies. There aren't any. All the witnesses that were called before committee, nobody could actually point to a single subsidy in existence. Now, so it's important that we have an actual, true, factual discussion. I know that the Bloc doesn't like the oil and gas industry in Canada, and that's fine. They can be that way. What I look at it is that the oil and gas industry, when you look at the revenue that it brings into our communities, into our small towns, it's the dollars that are raised from that industry in particular that pay for our schools, they pay for our hospitals, they pay for our policing, it helps pay for our infrastructure. So by removing that industry from this country like the Bloc wants to do, you're removing the funding model for schools, for hospitals, for infrastructure, for policing. And to me, why would we ever do that?